we have athletes. How do we use that to our effect? A 3-5-2 uses our best abilities.
Look, the game against South Korea is a good example. Second half went with 3 at the back, and we're immediately better.
All right, but obviously we have to start because this is huge, right? Look, USMNT fans, they were at their lowest. And then all of a sudden, Pochettino makes a very small change, and it had such a huge effect on the formation that suddenly USMNT fans are back up. This is important to talk about because is this change the secret sauce that makes the USMNT so much better coming into the World Cup? This is our top topic that is brought to you and presented by Buchanan's Blended Scotch Whiskey, an official FIFA World Cup 26 supporter. Nos vamos al Mundial with a Bucanita in hand.
This is the top topic.
Let's go. All right. So we have differing thoughts on it. So obviously the game against Korea started 4-3-2-1,
Right.
which is I think similar also to what Greg Berhalter played as well. But the game against Japan was 3 at the back. So it was what was it, a 3? What would be the formation?
3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2.
Something like that. Yeah.
It really depends. I mean, now formations are kind of ever evolving.
Nebulous and weird and stuff like that.
Nebulous is a great word. So I think even when Greg Berhalter was managing, you'd see in attack, it would essentially become a 3 at the back because one of the fullbacks would venture very far forward, usually Serginho Dest. So it's not that big of a shift. The difference is in understanding where you're standing and where you're marking. I think the 3-5-2 or the 3-4-1-2 is a very good formation and is probably the right move going forward in moments, because for me it's positive in the sense that it counts as a surprise, right? I think back to when Mikel Arteta first showed up to Arsenal. The only trophy he's won at Arsenal was in that first half season in 2020 when he used the 3-5-2 or the 3-4-1-2 in order to win the FA Cup because people weren't prepared for it. And that to me is the biggest benefit of it, is that if your squad is comfortable playing in those positions, it counts as a shift. It counts as a change for what the opposition is prepared for.
Sure.
Or certainly causes them to have to prepare for 2 separate lineups. So there's a lot of positives. Our players are athletes. And I've been talking about this for years. We develop athletes, right? If you go back to Soccernomics, they talk about what makes a footballing country. It's high GDP, high protein, right? If you have those two when you're developing young players.
Two of your favorite things, bro.
Easy, everybody. Right? Right? Hey, if anyone listening in the car and your mom just perked up, you know what she was getting into back in the day.
Okay. Now I didn't think we were going to get into diets so quickly.
Yeah. She's like, if he got high GDP, I want his protein. That's what your mom was thinking, bro. It's crazy.
All right. Shout out to all the moms out there.
Shout out to all the horny moms, bro.
Okay.
So they count those two. Obviously, one of the biggest anomalies is the U.S., right? Because we don't have the coaching. But we have athletic players. So how do you use that? Think back to like 10 years ago when we started this podcast. MLS's writers did a huge research piece about what is the American style of playing, right? Do we have a style, right? If I say, what's the Spanish style? You already know. What's the traditional Italian style? You already know. What is the traditional American style? We didn't have one. What we had was kind of counterattacking because we have athletes. We have players that, especially if they play multiple sports, like Cal Martin always talks about, we have athletes. How do we use that to our effect? A 3-5-2 uses our best abilities, right? You can heavily press, you're controlling the midfield, you're overloading the midfield. We have athletes that are center backs that can get back, not counting Tim Ream, who's a little bit older. For the most part, it plays to our strengths. But if you do it every time, everyone already understands how to play against 3-4-1-2 or a 3-5-2. We already know that. So it's not necessarily going to be the way forward only. Being able to add that to your arsenal of saying, you know what? In this second match in the group stage, we're going to come out in a 3-4-1-2 and they won't be prepared for it. That is the power of this additional formation.
Which is fair, and I think it's a optimistic look at it. Like, if we just add this to our toolbox that then nobody's gonna see it coming.
But I mean, how many national teams have multiple formations that they play? Not many. You don't have that much time with them.
True, but they are capable. I mean, they do this at their clubs. The players play. They're at different clubs that play different formations, and they're familiar. They can adapt. I mean, look, the game against South Korea is a good example because we started at 4-2-3-1, and then in the second half. Went with 3 at the back, and we're immediately better. Way more chances created. Maybe that's also a factor of the personnel. Balogun getting to the game again. Josh Sargent, I think we've seen enough.
Let it go, Chris.
I can't
let it go, dude.
I can't stop bringing
this
up.
What did this guy do?
I just hope Pochettino listens. But so I think that's a huge factor. Matt Doyle on MLSsoccer.com wrote a great article about this. Exactly what we're talking about, and how the formations look across both games. What you notice is that when we play with 4 at the back, and again, I don't know if it's simply about personnel or anything else. We play much more cautious, and we just don't. There's just not. We sacrifice creating chances up top to play better defense, and this can't be necessarily the approach.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say overloading the midfield removes that, right? Because that's where we have most players, so we'll be able to cycle the ball more in our midfield. So we're not depending on our backline as much.
Right. So, I mean, look, in the game against South Korea, Serginho Dest started the game. Serginho Dest obviously coming back from injury, hasn't even had that many minutes at his club, and then definitely this is, I believe, his first time getting called back into the national team in
you look great.
a
Since
year.
the red card, probably, right? Did he get injured after the red card?
He got injured. Yeah, he got injured with his club. So after that. So you think about even a player like Serginho Dest, is he ready? He's like, is he fitting in right now? Like, is he at his most confident to be playing on the national team and doing everything that Pochettino is sort of asking him to do? I'm just trying to make sense of like why were we so cautious in the beginning of the game against South Korea, and then it was just completely different against Japan. So
yeah, but I mean, I also, because we have such a mix and match squad,
mm-hmm.
some A, some B, some C in there. There's not the the comfortability. There's not the familiarity with each other. So defensively,
so this is, I mean, we go back to what I was screaming about on the live show, where I'm saying like we don't need mixing it up right now. We need stability and comfort. That's what I want to see. So I understand the look. I'm not with the formation
is what gives us the opportunity to find this.
I agree. But then again, that is the con, right? The negative is that then we have games like we have against South Korea where we outshoot them, whatever, 20 something to whatever, and we get no goals, right? So I understand that there's some games
still a friendly.
It is a friendly, and we're gonna work on certain aspects of the game, whether it's offense or defense and midfield. I mean, Christian Roldan was pretty good in the game against Japan. So that was like good to see, and maybe that is a question of like, could he make it to the roster? But I hate that I'm even asking that right now. That's my frustration. Like, we should have a pretty solid, like, hey, we know there should be like 1 or 2 spots right now. I feel like that should be up for grabs, and then the rest should be kind of set in stone. But and that's not on Pochettino himself. That's on the players too, for not not having strong seasons, for everything happening with Weah going to a different club and not getting a lot of minutes at Juve, which are most likely that's why he left, because he was like, oh, if I'm not going to get a spot, the World Cup is coming up. Same thing, McKennie not getting called in. I don't understand this. So it's and now the conversations about what I was seeing after the game against South Korea is people saying, should they sack Pochettino and bring in Brian Schmetzer?
It's crazy.
I mean, and so this is, and then Pochettino with his responses and getting a little aggro in press conferences.
He was going a little Ange. He was Anging a little.
This is not what we need, bro. There's more to his job than simply picking out the right tactics and picking out the right plays. He also has to like get everybody in line, get everybody believing in the project. So he has to have some level of charm and communication to be able to do these things as well. So that's where it's like we could go over like formations and stuff like that. And again, this was the game against Japan. I thought was one of Pochettino's best performances, and I have to give him credit when it's due. I think the even though I was like skeptical of the lineup, I thought we were gonna lose 2-0. Yeah, there's a lot of different formations, a lot of different tactics, a lot of different strategy. But what strategy are you gonna take to direct your mouse to that like button? Hit the like button right now.
I said 2-1. I thought we were gonna lose as well. But can I give Pochettino credit for one thing? There was a moment in the game, and I think all three of us noticed it. Like towards the end of the match, towards the middle of the second half, suddenly Japan's better players, quote unquote, start coming in. Minamino was one, but I couldn't remember who else was coming in at the time. We're looking at that. All three of us in this room went, oh, here we go. Now we're going to lose. We looked even better after that.
Sure.
And it wasn't necessarily that we were better against the better players. We brought in Jack McGlynn, Diego Luna, and I think somebody else in that moment. Maybe you can, if you have it there, you can tell me. And we're bringing, again, MLS level players. And we were taking out, I think Pulisic came out, and I can't remember who else came out. We were taking out our top tier players, and we were bringing in MLS level players, even though we've seen Diego Luna and Jack McGlynn play really, really well when given opportunities at moments, and have other moments that are maybe a bit more regrettable. But we've seen these players, even though perform well, we thought there's no comparison to the Minaminos of the world and whatnot when they're coming in. And suddenly we're getting even more shots on target. We're looking more aggressive. Jack McGlynn, I think by his third touch already has a shot on target that looked dangerous. It provided me an opportunity to say, all we simply needed to do was overload the midfield and trust that our backline has the pace and speed and the discipline to not just get back, but not really come out of position. And that in and of itself, and simply, I think in agreeing with what you're talking about, which is we can't be that conservative and sit back and just be good defensively and hope that we can eke out wins. Because look, 20 plus shots on target and we don't score.
Yeah,
it seemed like
not on target, but
So sorry, 20 shots and we don't score. So seemingly we're figuring out a way to be a bit more aggressive. And I think also Balogun started really to come into his own in a way we haven't seen since the Nations League in Vegas 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was under BJ Callahan. This was the most fluid I'd seen him, taking those chances, trying to find that connectability and that chemistry with Pulisic and some of the other players up front. I looked at that, and Zendejas looked good. When was the last time Zendejas looked good?
Yeah, Pochettino said something along the lines if he if he keeps playing like that, he's gonna have a strong chance of making the World Cup roster. I don't.
Right there, by the way. Well, if he has a strong chance of making the World Cup roster, that is proof that why you shouldn't be upset of all this experimentation, because he's trying to see what these guys are made of in crunch time, in tough matches, when the stakes are against them, to see how they react, to see if they're good enough to be in the squad. And look, Zendejas is an example of, if he wasn't testing these players, Zendejas would have been out, and we all would have been in agreement. He had his chances. Let him out. Sargent had an opportunity. He proved he doesn't have it.
But also, I mean, I understand the idea of,
and you don't
course,
think there's a positive.
I do think there is a positive.
You don't think it's even a net positive. Losing
no,
to South Korea in a
Zendejas
friendly doesn't matter as much as
not
getting good players.
a person I would use as an example of that he doesn't I have less of a problem with Zendejas being called in than I have a problem with McKennie not being called in. Like, that is my issue. Like, these are the players are going to be there, and to not call them in. And again, my assumption, there's no injury or anything.
But let's take a look at McKennie. Let's say he's available and just simply wasn't called in, right? Because it gives you an opportunity to test another player to see maybe they have a good connection, maybe they play.
Yes.
And this gives us a chance to have a better player in the squad with a little bit more experience now and a little bit more understanding of what Mauricio Pochettino may want from them if they're called into a match or if they're needed because of a McKennie injury. You don't think that's a net positive over seeing Weston McKennie again in a friendly for 60 minutes?
No, I don't think it's a net positive, but there are positives. I'm not saying that there aren't any, but I don't think it's a net positive.
How is it not a net positive? Because I'm really not understanding where you're coming from.
Because the stability and confidence of the team, I think, is more important right now than the experimentation. So it might be. I'm not saying I'm like 99% that we need stability over experimentation.
No, I get what you're saying. I think you're wrong, but at least now I understand what you're saying, and I just don't agree.
Well, sure. I mean, and that is the.
So there you go. Christian's wrong. I'm right.
I think.
I hear the audience.
I think
I hear the audience.
I think the positives of winning games, even though they're friendlies, the positive of winning games is a bigger net positive than Zendeja scoring that goal. Right. That's my opinion. It's not even about right or wrong, but that's
no, it is about right or wrong on the show, and I think you're wrong.
I think I think winning games against tough opponents will do more for the preparation into the World Cup than just trying out different formations and different players and stuff like that.
All right,
that's my thought.
I need both of you to answer. So I need you to include this. Winning a game, friendlies don't count as wins.
They literally do. But psychologically,
no.
You look at the score and you're like, I beat Switzerland.
Sure.
I'm wearing a U.S. shirt. I just beat Switzerland.
In a friendly.
Where as opposed to
you can take multiple players out. You have multiple
So you're saying
subs.
losing 4-0 doesn't hurt psychologically? Losing to Switzerland 4-0, you're just like, it's just a friendly.
It doesn't, well, I'll say it doesn't mean as much. It certainly hurts a little, but if you're like, hey, in the first 30 minutes, we're going to try this, and then in the second half, we're going to try this, and then we're going to bring in these players. It's not about the result in a friendly. It's about what it is that you're trying to get out of the game, what the coach is looking at. So if it's simply about like, can we do a box midfield? If you lose 4-0, guess what we found out? We can't do a box midfield, at least with those players. It ain't about the result. The result's not important.
No, but you can't. You can't say it's not about the result.
It's not about the result. It's a friendly.
Pochettino gets paid lots of money. The U.S.
not for friendlies.
The federation is not like, it's not about the result. They're not saying it's not about the result. No, people are paying money to go see these friendlies, to see them experiment and not be at least entertaining. No,
sure. Look,
don't agree with that.
We're not talking about the money side of it. We're simply talking about what percentage from 0 to 100 do you think the final result of a friendly, how important it is?
I don't know, like 70%.
I think it's maybe 10 to 20%.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Maybe you give up a lead in the second half, and that makes that.
There's a difference between losing 4-0 and like 2-1. Yes, I mean like that in a friendly. That's still a pretty good result.
The 2-1 is worse. No, the 2-1 is worse than the 4-0 in a friendly.
Alexis,
how are you guys not in agreement with me right now?
I like Carter.
If you lose in the last second because of a dumb mistake, that right there is worse than a 4-0 where what you set out to learn didn't work.
Wrong. No, that's ridiculous.
How are you guys not agreeing with this?
I haven't agreed with anything you've just said in the last 3 minutes.
Well, then we're cutting that out of the show. No, I'm being dead ass. This is ridiculous.
It psychologically hurts so much worse for the players, the coaching staff, the fans to lose 4-0 than 2-1.
Friendlies are simply a booked open mic. That's all it is. There's just audience watching a closed door training. It's an open door training. That's all a friendly is. It's a training exercise. The fact that you're treating it like a full result is ridiculous.
I'm not treating it like a full result. I said like 70%. Not a full result. If it was a World Cup game, then it would be 100%.
Of course. If it was even if it was a meaningless, the fourth match in a group stage where you've already qualified, that's more meaningful than a friendly.
I'm just saying that the residue of winning friendlies carries over to those competitive matches.
Friendly, bro. We have to be a much better footballing nation where friendly should not matter this much. This is ridiculous. No, this is small. This is little bank moves.
Antithesis.
These are small country, small club moves. We need to be thinking bigger of ourselves. Friendly is an opportunity to test yourself and test certain ideas against a different team than you have in training. It is not under no circumstances should we walk away beating Japan thinking we're better than Japan. We're simply had better tactics on that day, or our players played better in those moments.
I'm saying that
in this training
session, that winning is also a factor, a positive that you can get that can be helpful for the future.
I think if you polled,
you're saying it doesn't really matter.
I think if you polled the 18 players that were available that game, they would all disagree with you. And I think if you polled the coaches across the board, if you polled professional players, they would tell you you're wrong.
All right, we gotta get a
tell us what
anonymous
survey
of all the.
You know what, Carter? Get Potts on the phone, damn it. Do your job.
Anyway,
I think I want the fans to tell me, what do you think?
Okay. Well, we're recording this, so they're not like we're
Yeah,
not live
but-
right now.
but
They're not
they'll-
going to talk to you.
But when
through-
they see
through
it,
the
they're
camera.
gonna think I'm talking to them. You're like, how do you know I'm taking a shit right now?
Well, hopefully we've made your poop entertaining.
Yeah, that's literally our jobs.
All right. So what's better, the 4-3-2-1 or the 3-5-2? Let us know in the
Also,
comments.
stop pushing so hard. You're gonna get a couple friends back there.
All right. We're gonna talk some Premier League news right after this. All right, welcome back. So, Ange
Yes.
Postecoglou has been announced as the Nottingham Forest manager, which is a bit
Yes.
of a surprise. But Nuno Espírito Santo, he got sacked after having beef with Evangelos Marinakis, the owner. He got the team to Europe, helped them stay up after they got deducted points. And so, was that the right move? And is Ange the right manager to move forward? So, let's take a look and run that back. So let's start with some of the beef because Nuno in the first before I believe the first game of the season, he was asked about his relationship with the owner.
Well, it started last year. Remember,
Yeah,
Evangelinos Marinakis stayed on the pitch,
Mhm.
and that British people were like, "How dare an owner who owns the team in the building?" I'm assuming. I don't know
How
if they
dare
own the
he
building.
do everything he's allowed to do?
Yeah, how dare he walk around and monitor the thing he owns? Which I have an issue with the way British people sort of want to treat owners, which is like, we want you to spend all the money you have, but don't you dare walk around here and enjoy it.
Don't even talk to me.
This is for me, not for you. Again,
Put the
keep paying.
Put
for
the
it.
cash on the table and shut your damn mouth.
Turn around and walk out. So whatever. To me, I'm like, if you want to walk around, you want to walk around. I also understand this guy could be a bit of a lightning rod, right?
Right.
Him standing around on the pitch is not just an owner checking the grass. He's putting pressure.
And we joked about the Morgan Gibbs White video of him signing when he was
Mr.
announced.
Marinakis.
Fabrizio, he here we go, Morgan Gibbs White to Tottenham. And then all of a sudden we see a video of basically, I mean, all we needed if it was a video of, Marinakis having Morgan Gibbs White in a headlock and being like, hey, you ain't going, just noogies and be like, hey, you ain't going anywhere.
You ain't going nowhere. Now you can't leave.
I would be like,
Marinakis closes the door.
I'd be like, okay, this is typical Marinakis stuff.
But again, I mean, the jokes abound, right? The jokes are all about how
Yeah,
he's like a big, expressions called him the Greek Suge Knight.
Yeah, dude.
Right? Like he puts pressure on people. He expects the best. He feels there's something nefarious about his past that we can't really put our finger on, but it feels there's stuff allegedly that that sort of fear surrounds
He
this
wouldn't
guy.
want you going through his banking records. That's
No,
all.
no. And if you did, you might go for a little flight out of a window. This guy sort of holds himself in this era of like, I'd rather be feared than loved. There's something about that.
Yeah.
And you see it play out. Nuno Espírito Santo, I think, is a incredible manager, boring style of play, right? So I'm almost like, maybe this frees Nottingham Forest of this doldrum style of playing, this like defend, and then counterattack. Maybe you can make the argument that it works for them and they have the right players for it. Chris would certainly benefit from it. The fans are just happy to be in Europe. They should have probably been in Europa, but whatever. They got bumped down to, or whatever. Yeah, they took over Europa and Crystal Palace goes into conference.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So got them into a big European competition. So maybe it works. But in the end, I'm like, you know what? They kind of needed to move away from that anyway. So this kind of opens the door for that. I'm not a Marinakis apologist or making excuses for him, but in a way, I'm like, this actually works better for us having to view the games. But how fast it happened. It went from this is the greatest season we've had since they won Europe in like the 50s or something.
I think it was the 80s or something.
I think it was like it might have been the 50s. Let's see who's closer. Carter, look it up.
Yeah,
when you
look
get a
at when
chance.
did Nottingham Forest?
And then all of a sudden it turned sour. There were some rumors that maybe it was Adu, that it wasn't Evangelinos Marinakis.
And the sporting director.
The sporting director for
Yeah.
all of the clubs, right? He handles all the clubs under Marinakis' umbrella. There were some rumors that it was that maybe something else. But you don't really see this happening with like a Jorge Mendes player or coach.
Oh, sure.
Usually there's like a little bit more control in the back.
Were you asking about the Champions League or their last league title?
the Champions
The
League.
Champions
They
League.
won the Champions League in 1980.
Oh,
80,
you're
same.
right. Look at that.
Told you.
80. Boom. So I'm shocked with how it happened, but because of the sort of character that Marinakis is, this doesn't surprise me at all. And also, this is kind of par for the course for the Premier League. Think back to Abramovich. That guy would fire managers in a year and a half.
Sure. Also, speaking of Abramovich, the news about Chelsea's charges that they got to deal with from the Abramovich era have just come up, and that's just something they're gonna have to address in the future.
Whatever. I think everything at Chelsea is perfectly fine.
We shall see. This is so. I don't necessarily agree with the boring sort of assessment. I mean, I think the season that they just had. I mean, you got to give credit to the manager for the team looking as good as they did. Like they found ways to sort of like unlock that offense. And obviously, Chris Wood, Morgan Gibbs-White, keeping Morgan Gibbs-White obviously very important. But Callum Hudson-Odoi is another one who's just like couldn't really find much success at Chelsea, and then all of a sudden maybe he's like a bigger fish in this smaller pond, and
or maybe it's just the trust of a manager,
sure.
You know.
But they've had a fantastic season as a collective and individually those players. Now, Ange, this is where you could probably make the argument, like as far as some like a little bit of boring football. Maybe Carter can weigh in on this as well, but this is where. This doesn't feel like this feels like a petty beef and a petty move. Petty as far as like getting rid of Nuno. It's like let's get rid of. It doesn't feel like it's the right. It was the right decision for the club at the time.
Can I just counter that real quick? If there's not harmony between the top and all the way down to the players, down to like even the janitor, everyone. If there's a harmony, you're not gonna have a successful season. So if it's the owner versus the manager, who's gonna win?
I understand that, but it has to be. You can't be grown-ups and just talk it out, figure it out. It has to.
You don't think that happened? First of all, you've seen Evangelos Marinakis stand there. You having that conversation?
But even for Marinakis, it feels like, hey, I'm going to prove a point. I'm gonna hurt my club. That's my concern and fear. That's what I think.
I get why you're saying that, but I think this is a move of this club. The badge is bigger than Nuno. Nuno may have gotten to this point, but that doesn't mean another manager can't get us more forward, or even higher up this table.
Yeah, we don't.
And I think it's a good move if you're not getting along, and if you cannot find that harmony, it's the right thing to do to get rid of a manager. We've seen managers stay on for too long or get too much. I'm more shocked by Ange Postecoglou getting sacked at Tottenham than I am by Nuno Espírito Santo getting sacked at Forest.
Sure, I think they're both sort of shocking, given that they both got their teams to Europe.
One of them got him a trophy.
That is true. So I understand. And so, but on the face of it, I feel like Nuno's a more chill guy than Ange. I would imagine Ange is gonna have the same exact problems with Marinakis.
But this is gonna be
real soon.
This is gonna be telenovela level arguing. It's gonna be on camera. Straight up arguing. Right. There may be some shoving matches.
If Marinakis is looking for like a soldier that just does what he's told,
that's not the guy.
And Postecoglou is not the guy I'm thinking about.
He's not a consigliere level. I don't know why I brought that word up.
So that's my concern. Talk
about so I said they were a little boring, and that's mostly on the pitch. Now off the pitch, having Evangelos Marinakis, doing whatever he does. And Ange Postecoglou. That's going to be every week. We're going to have something to talk about.
Very much so. Yeah,
until he's sacked in the third week of the season.
For Ange Postecoglou, he's walking into kind of a better situation. Like as far as not the money that is available for a team like Nottingham Forest, but he has like
I don't know where the money coming from, but he might have more money.
But I'm just saying, no, definitely not the money, because they got hit with the PSR stuff last season. So Nottingham Forest can't just spend and do whatever they want. But he has a better team, a better just current, probably 12 to 14 players of like, I can probably win more with this group than I can with Tottenham.
I don't know if they're exactly his style of players, but I kind of agree with you that he has more to work with, essentially just in the squad. I'll also say he's done really, really well when he doesn't have everything he wants, right? He won with Brisbane Roar, and he won with Celtic. Now, Celtic, yes, in the Premiership, you're talking the top of the top, right?
Yeah.
It's between them and Rangers every year, and everyone else tries to play for third. But it's not like Celtic could just go out and sign whoever they want. They ain't got it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is actually fits into his pattern more.
Maybe. Yeah. This is it's going to
He wants to be the underdog.
Sure. Hey, look, this is definitely less scrutiny, less attention. He probably the post match conferences are probably going to be a little bit less contentious and stuff like that.
Here's what I want to ask. How does this end?
My
At the end of the season, where are Nottingham Forest? Where's Ange? And where's Marinakis?
I'm going to say they're not going to be better than they were last season. So they're not getting relegated. I think they'll be a mid-table team. I would imagine.
Does Ange last the whole season?
Does he last the whole season? Yes. I mean, Marinakis has to, unless they're in a relegation battle, which I don't think that's going to be the case. So, no, I don't think he's going to. He will last the entire season.
I think by the winter transfer window, he's gone. I just can't see a world where these two, unless they're like all of a sudden buddy, and maybe they have like similar personalities. I can't see how these two get along, especially with the way Ange treated the media.
Right,
if that's how he is, if he's like a curmudgeon in the front office,
Marinakis and Ange are apparently very good friends. Very, very good friends.
Friends?
Yeah. Gee, they're both Greek.
They're both Greek.
They're very, very good friends. Apparently.
I mean, yeah,
Cypriots. Is that what you said?
They're both Greek.
Greeks,
they're both
Greeks.
Greeks.
Obviously, yeah. Postecoglou obviously raised in Australia, but yeah, but a Greek background.
We haven't even talked about that. My guy just went out and hired a Greek. That's crazy.
Well, next, the sporting director, Stavros Halkias.
Yeah, damn.
I love it. I just Marinakis and Postecoglou. Marinakis is gonna get on the pitch and they're gonna do like the Dragon Ball Z fusion. Hey, no, we're cool.
But with feta in their hands.
Well, homie, bro. All right.
Imagine they win a title and they start breaking plates. That'd be awesome. I would love that.
I just love this. Thank you for sharing your culture with us.
Yeah. Right? Astoria going to be lit for Nottingham Forest, bro.
All right. We got to talk some World Cup, so we'll do that when we come right back.
All right, welcome back. Let's take a look around the league. Hey, how about we go around the world? Some of these World Cup qualifiers, huh?
Let's go.
Add that sound, Carter. Why don't we talk about Messi? He's crying a little bit, not just because somebody showed him a picture of the Seattle Sounders, but it's because he played.
Showed him a picture of Paul Rothrock.
Damn. Roldan, okay. Messi cried because he had an emotional moment looking around as he played possibly, allegedly, maybe asterisk, his last meaningful match inside of Argentina.
Okay, within
the frontera,
enveloped by Argentina,
being hugged by the people of Argentina. Clearly a meaningful moment in a win. He scores a brace against Venezuela.
Yep. It was obviously cool to see, and you would hope that he would have a good game in what is possibly his last game in front of Argentinian fans or within Argentina. There was a little bit the goals that he scored, and this happened. I was watching this game. And there were a lot of moments of who was
did they play Get It to Messi?
A lot of Get It to Messi, and not there weren't like bad chances either. Like it made sense, but there was just even the second goal with Thiago Almada passed him the ball, and it's like Thiago, you would have taken the shot pretty much anytime. And Messi had to do what Messi does to end up making it a goal. He shoots through 4 players or something, but it's like the easier shot. The easier opportunity was just you taking the shot, but you could tell that they wanted to give him that moment. And
you ever see those videos of the guys who'll walk up to a dude on a date and be like, "Hey, Steve, yo, dude, you're the guy who paid for my groceries the other day. Thank you." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, yeah,
wow.
Your wingman."
Like, man, this guy. The girl is like, "Well, this guy's a
great guy. I'm glad I went on a date with him."
Mayor or something?
Yeah. So for me, that's what they were doing to Messi.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But here's the thing: I don't really believe this is Messi's last meaningful match in Argentina.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's playing in a league where he's able to sort of slow it down a little bit in a way, right? I don't necessarily think MLS is a slower league or a less aggressive league or a less physical league than any other league out there. In fact, it may be more of some of those things. But he can sort of take it easy. He can take days off when he needs to. I think there's also the understanding, like, mitigate the physical ability that he has and his talents and let him stay out there as long as possible. I feel like we're going to get a little bit of a run after the World Cup, especially if they don't win the World Cup. If he wins the World Cup, he's done. But if they don't win the World Cup,
look, he'll definitely. They're gonna do some like testimonial big game. I mean, he's not gonna not play
meaningful.
Yeah, a competitive game. Either
I think he's gonna keep going. You think he's done after this World Cup? If they don't win the World Cup, you think he's fully retires?
If they don't, I think he's gonna probably go one more year after the World Cup. So I would imagine the end of 2027, that
You're talking
MLS
about-
season.
Okay, club, but country.
Country.
You think he retires from the national team?
Yes. Oh no. I not retiring from the national team. I think he's going to obviously retire. I think he will retire at the same time. Not like he's not going to retire from the national team before he retires with Inter Miami. That's my thought. I think it'll be he'll do those both at the same time. How old is Messi? Right now he's 38. So he's going to be 40 is effectively when
Touching
he retires.
40, yeah, when he retires.
When he retires. That's my thought. If he goes past that, then the dude is like, I mean, what more do you want, buddy? Like you got the World Cup. The country loves you. You are a god.
I think the ego move. The only competition he has now is the legacy of Maradona. He's won everything else. He's won Copa America.
Mm-hmm.
He's won World Cup. He's won countless titles in club form. There's no question about his club form, and now there's no question about his.
I mean, no MLS Cup. So
I know,
obviously gonna be a taint. Not
look,
a stain, not a taint.
Even superheroes have weaknesses, But I think the biggest thing for him to win now, because even if he wins the MLS Cup, no one's really gonna care. But other than Miami fans, obviously.
You don't think Buenos Aires is gonna go crazy? Gonna flip over cars?
No, I think a couple people shake hands and they'll go back to grilling steaks.
He won the Landon Donovan MLS
MVP, el MVP. No, I think
Maradona nunca hizo eso.
Couldn't do it. I hate too many demons. I think beating Maradona's legacy is the only thing left. I think it's a game of golf now.
You don't think he's done that already?
No, not to the people of Argentina.
Yeah.
To some, he may have matched. I'm sure there's a few where he's overtaken. I think if you ask the majority of them, I think Maradona is still held at a higher standard or at a higher level.
Sure.
Now, standard is the wrong word. He's held at a higher.
Yeah, that might be
in higher regard.
It might be one of those like boomers. Maradona is for boomers, and then like millennials and Gen Z is Messi. So yeah, I think I think this is the time to like get closer to like he's not going to be around that much longer. Just acceptance and stuff like that. And we take the good with the bad. We had the moment.
The way you said it is like, yo, Grandpa forgot Grandma's name. We got to start coming up with a contingency plan about where he's going to live.
Okay,
who's going to take care of him?
Plenty of lovely retirement homes in Florida.
Which one of us gets his house? You the one who's going to have to go change his diaper now.
So we'll see. All right. A couple of the World Cup stories. There was a game between Italy played against Israel. In a World Cup qualifier.
Well, it might
really
be
game.
one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life.
It was a 5-4 victory for Italy, which is it's just like kind of wild. But a lot of the drama came after the match, after the final whistle, because we saw Donnarumma kind of arguing with a lot of the Israeli players. We saw Gattuso, the manager for Italy, arguing with people as well.
He ain't afraid of a scrap.
A lot of, shut the F up kind of a thing. He was in a lot of people's faces. Apparently, I don't know if it's the Israel FA put out some statement that the players were being taunted by Donnarumma and stuff like that, which is, who is shocked by this?
Also, forget the countries we're talking about. You're telling me that one soccer team taunted another one during the game?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
When will society stop with these horrific acts?
I don't know. And this has been a thing. So not only in football, there's also Eurobasket is going on now. As well.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, entertaining games. I've been seeing highlights and stuff like that, and Israel's been playing.
When I was in Italy, I was watching him a lot as my wife was like, I'll be ready in 5 minutes, and that's an hour.
Right. So
you know what I mean? I'm watching it on the television. It's absolutely incredible.
There have been people doing, I've been watching like streamers do like watch-alongs for some of the games, and it's generational hate watches, right? They're like, it was Greece played against Israel, and everybody's just like, Giannis, dunk off him, crush him, bro. They don't want them to succeed at all. And obviously, with everything going on, they're not a popular country right now. So a lot of people. But
there's also a lot of issues with Israel being allowed in Europe,
right.
Because where else could you put it? You know, you can't put them in there.
Now because of everything going on, there's been more people asking. They're like, why is Israel playing in European competitions? And then they'll be like, oh, well,
Infantino's like, because they're white. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that.
but then they'll be like, oh, well, the African federations don't want them in their federation. And it's like, well, why don't they want, and they don't want to answer that question, right?
Yeah.
So it's a, I think the issue is when you hear being like, oh, they were mean to us. And it's like, this is what you want? You want sympathy for Italians yelling at you after a sport? It's like, there's a little bit of like, okay, right? We're not going to give you that much sympathy. But then it's also from a sporting thing. It's like, why are you crying? Like, it was you lost.
This isn't a surprise,
right?
Have you never been friends with Italians before? This is what they do.
It's not a shock. This
is like us arguing that our family members used our biggest insecurities as nicknames. That's what Latinos do.
You're gonna if this is how you want to be a neighbor to the rest of the countries, this is what's gonna happen. I don't even know why is it a shock. And then Norway.
Also, here's what I'll say. Tell me what they said, and I'll let you know if I agree or not.
I can't make any quick assumptions. I need to know what was said.
We kind of need to hear what was being said
because I kind of think Donnarumma might have made some points.
Yeah. He might have just been stating facts, and you're like, "How dare you bring up things we've done?"
Did he recently read something from a UN charter? I think I might agree with him. I don't know.
Yeah. Is he a member of UNICEF?
So, I might, Anyway, but
is he friends with Greta?
So the interesting thing too, I believe the upcoming Israel's next match is against Norway, and I think they announced that all the proceeds from that game will be going to like a Gaza charity. And look, this is everybody's obviously trying to. It's been 2 years of just horrific scrolling through your phone and seeing all this stuff, and everybody's trying to affect some sort of change. And so I applaud Norway for it's a big stance, because in UEFA, people get in trouble for even showing any support for Palestinians and stuff like that. So I think the tide is slowly kind of turning, but Norway kind of making the statement really says a lot. Really financially kind of just putting your money kind of where your mouth is rather than making a big statement. It also is a powerful statement in itself as well.
You're wearing the Grant Wall jersey. No more than this last 2 years have I wished Grant Wall was here.
100%.
His articles would have been amazing on this.
All right. Next up, let's talk.
Also, can someone get an Italian jersey for Jerry Seinfeld? You got to send him in a Zurich shirt. What are you, please? What are you talk about?
Anyway, let's go back to CONMEBOL real quick. Bolivia, they secured their spot in for the playoffs. So repechaje. So they won 1-0 against Brazil, which is whenever
they're not automatically in there. They can win. They can actually qualify for the
Yes,
but they're at least getting to a playoff game.
Right. So Bolivia hasn't. The last time they qualified for the World Cup was in 1994. But huge. I mean, there were fireworks. The players were on their knees, like in tears.
Have you seen these players? I'd be floored.
This is just like such a. I mean, it's also a bummer for Venezuela, who they needed to win. I think they were winning against Colombia. They could have been in that spot and qualified for their first ever World Cup, but they ended up losing 6-3 against Colombia.
Shouts to Vino Tinto, man.
Vino Tinto fans. So, but for Bolivia, in tears. They were just so emotional. They were fireworks. I mean, just like fireworks for like. Just making it to the playoff where you could possibly make it to the World Cup is enough of a reason to celebrate. And it also the point about adding countries to the World Cup. Some people don't like it, but it gives us moments like this where, again, countries can get an opportunity to play in a competition that, again, means so much to not only that country, but the continent and the entire world. So it would be cool to see Bolivia back in a World Cup.
If they play in a World Cup, those would be national holidays in Bolivia.
Sure. But beating Brazil 1-0,
It's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. And even though it's at home, and obviously there's you
Players
can't
have
breathe.
to be on
There's
air
no
tanks.
oxygen. There's no oxygen.
The ball bounces weird. You could have a heart attack.
Oxygen is only available for the Bolivian players. And like Brazilian players, you do not get any oxygen. There's a very finite amount for you. We get all of it.
If I'm not mistaken, first of all, it's like you can't just show up to that stadium and run. You have to be there for like a day or two for your body to acclimate.
Yeah.
Again, my cousin passed away because he didn't do this. They told him to wait a couple days before he ran at that really high altitude in Mexico, and he didn't listen, and unfortunately he passed away. So it takes a while for your body to acclimate. They do other things, like they try to put like the pressure tanks, like national teams or other teams will bring pressure tanks to try to get them to like assimilate or acclimate faster. But there's a chance that if they do play this playoff, it has to be on neutral ground, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which means they're not going to get that advantage. And they are very different near sea level than they are in the clouds.
Yeah. So depending on who they play, I mean, you would imagine they play in CONMEBOL. They play some pretty, obviously.
Wouldn't it be like against someone from Asia or Africa?
Oceania. That's usually how it works. Yeah. I don't know who they would play. I don't know if that's even set yet, but a huge opportunity for Bolivia. So, so we'll see. All right. Another one that was pretty exciting. AFCON has been fantastic in the World Cup qualifying. Nigeria just...
What's going on, bro? You got some of the biggest names in the game.
And they can't, bro. It's a different... it's just a different scene out there, bro. It's like that you just need a different level of like... I mean, we have CONCACAF and we have our like nuances and weird intricacies, and AFCON is...
Europeans don't understand what AFCON goes through, and they don't understand what CONMEBOL or CONCACAF goes through. They think like, why can't you just beat some of these teams?
Nigeria
make
is
it very hard.
Third in their group, which is out of World Cup qualification. They need to be, I believe, in first to automatically qualify, or
one of the best second places.
Yeah. And there's I think 7 or 8 groups or something like that in AFCON. So that's a shock because again they have
gonna make this
Premier
a
League
62
players
team World Cup, bro.
Right? and it's fun because the watching the qualifier, you sort of experienced this at the World Cup in some stage, but the qualifiers themselves is like when you look up Nigeria against South Africa TikTok or whatever, or on look it up on TikTok, and all the Nigerian pundits and content creators are all screaming, and I love like peeking in that world,
getting a taste of what the culture's saying,
because then it's just like then they're having the same arguments that we have. They're like, why isn't the manager calling in players from the Nigerian league? They're from here, they play here, they mean
a lot of the sentiment is like these players make too much money and they live too comfortable a life outside of our country, so when they come here they don't even care as much as our players would. It's kind of mimicking what a lot of people in America think.
Right. I mean, we sort of have the opposite because we like the quality of the player playing in Europe is...
But people are arguing maybe they don't care as much. They're making too much money playing for the national team. Didn't mean as much as it did in my day. I'm Landon Donovan,
But it's fascinating that they have kind of a similar discourse.
Right. But when a big nation falls out of that place where they could qualify, sometimes a smaller nation like Bolivia steps in.
Yeah.
And for AFCON, it's Cape Verde. Oh my God, a tiny island.
The Cape Verdeans are, I believe it'd be the smallest if they do qualify. They're currently in first. They need one more win, and they'd be making it to. I believe this is their first World Cup. They wouldn't have. I don't think they've made it before.
Carter, can you check if Cape Verde
has
ever even won again? Are they the San Marino of Africa?
Interesting. Oh, so I believe it'd be the smallest ever country, like smallest like landmass to qualify for a World Cup. I had seen that online somewhere, but they had Cape Verde had not qualified. So this is a monumental. When you think of I don't even what's a Cape Verdean player? The dude that plays in for Columbus Crew. The defender of the year.
For real?
Yeah, I believe he's Cape Verdean. There aren't many that I don't. I gotta like look at the roster. I don't know.
Yeah, same thing. I'm gonna pull this up. Shocked to find out they have a women's team. Are there that many people in the country?
Okay.
Sporting Club B. That's probably the biggest name I've seen so far. Shamrock Rovers.
Steven Moreira. He's the
Steven Moreira.
So he's Cape Verde. He's the only one I know. Anybody else?
Oh, Ludogorets. There's a player from Ludogorets.
Yeah.
Krasnodar.
They just beat,
Trabzonspor.
they beat Cameroon 1-0. So did you see the clip of Onana? Maybe we can show this in post. But Onana after the game, he's trying to walk off the pitch, and there's a bunch of fans that are kind of surrounding him and storming him. And one dude is trying to take a selfie with Onana. And my man mushes him.
Oh, dude, now I want to see this. You know, I'm a fan of
He's like,
mushes.
yo, get off. He's like, get off me, man.
Yeah,
right?
nah,
Like,
not now, bro.
Onana is pissed after losing that game. Where Cameroon are in second in the group. So they're 4 points behind Cape Verde. But yeah, and they look, Libya's is 1 point behind Cameroon. So there's so much.
What's their FIFA ranking? Can you look that up? Cape Verde's FIFA ranking?
73.
73.
That's actually not terrible.
It's not terrible. Yeah.
Not terrible.
But bro, pretty remarkable. Cape Verde looking like they're going to qualify. Their next game is against Libya, another big game in Libya. So yeah, AFCON has been absolutely fantastic, bro.
This is gonna be wild. I'm kind of excited for some of these like smaller nations to get in because they bring the vibes. And I know this upsets, fans. Oh, there's too many, garbage teams in the World Cup now because you let 48 in. You forget, like we talked about this with Club World Cup, and then you forgot what it means for some of these fans to be a part of a competition like this. And that's the vibes you want. I don't truly care that much in the beginning what happens on the pitch as much as I care about what are the scenes. Once we get to the knockout stages, then I care about
Yeah, there'll be some interesting countries that we're not used to seeing in the World Cup. So obviously South Africa is in first in Group C.
They just beat somebody big.
No, they drew to Nigeria.
Oh, to Nigeria.
Yeah. And then another one, Gabon.
Aubameyang.
Aubameyang and why am I just forgetting his name all of a sudden? From LAFC,
Danny Boanga.
Boanga, yeah, he's been fantastic for Gabon. I believe he scored like 2 or 3 goals in this window. So to have Gabon in the World Cup will also be really fun.
Also, what my wife's grandmother calls me when we eat.
Gabon.
You know what that is?
No, I don't know.
Italian say that if you eat too much.
Okay, well, I can't believe they named the country after that.
Right? Damn. And everyone's so skinny that I've seen. Aubameyang's thin, Danny Boanga's thin.
All right. Look, the World Cup qualifiers, we have another window. I think because the U.S., Canada, Mexico already qualified, it's taken a little bit of the our focus away from qualifications because CONCACAF is also has a Costa Rica and Haiti.
Remember the hell of a hexagonal?
Right. Well, now we have a 9-agonal.
Damn.
But the Haiti and Costa Rica tied 3-3. That was also a really entertaining game. So yeah, we have sort of been less inclined to pay attention to the qualifiers because we're already in it, and I think that tends to happen with a lot of the host countries, but doesn't take away from the entertainment that it brings. All right, let's wrap up there, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Cooligans. My name is Christian Polanco. That's Alexis. Make sure you follow us everywhere at Soccer Cooligans on all socials. Hit the like button on this video if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube if you have not yet. Make sure you follow us on Blue Sky as well at soccercooligans.com. That is our handle on Blue Sky. All right. Anything I missed? Anything else you want to say? Any parting words?
No, just love you guys.
All right. We love you guys and gals and
All of
NBs. Okay.
But not the dog.
Only Alexis. I cannot. All right.
The thoughts provided here are the thoughts of everyone, including Carter.
Take care, everybody.
And Yahoo.
Look, there's a lot of drama in AFCON, but there's also a lot of drama in Major League Soccer. And we recently spoke to retired MLS player Chris Winger about all the history of MLS and his career. A lot of drama, a lot of great story, a lot of Pirlo stories. So if you want to watch that video, you can click on my face right now.
Hey, and if you want to, subscribe, click right here.